Alles klar, Paletti, danke. Welcome back to Muotathal, to the final day The final events of those World Championships in Whitewater Canoeing. The International Canoe Federation, for the first time in 45 years, has allocated those World Championships to the Swiss Canoe Federation. Perfect conditions not only today but the last 3 days. It has been tremendous and not what we expected. You see quite a bit of rain every now and then, thunderstorms. The water level of the Muota river that you see here goes up, and nothing of that this week. Absolutely brilliant, perfect conditions for those world-class athletes from 23 countries. And we are about to see the final events. 6 more gold medals up for grabs in the team events. All those 6 different classes have seen the individual event this morning. We've got plenty of new world champions in the individual event, and now we'll have 6 more medal sets to give away this afternoon. The crowd is here. They came out. What a lovely day in the sunshine in central Switzerland. We're surrounded by mountains. What a surprise. And as we look up on the top of those mountains, it is a clear view, brilliant weather, and we still see snow from last winter. And that is melted and comes into the river Muota that you see here. We're running at about 27-28 cumex. The water has gone down a little bit during the last few days. And a welcome in the commentary box. He's been with me over the last 3.5 days. Welcome back, Matthias. How much did you enjoy those last few days?
I absolutely enjoyed those days, especially this morning. It was such a tremendous final. It was such close decisions in all the races I have seen. It was a great competition.
Great publicity for that exciting, very dynamic sport, and we have seen tremendous performances throughout all the classes, and as you said, very tight racing. And something we have seen, even if a paddler had a slight error in one of those tricky sections, they could compensate and they could come through. So it's not over until you cross that finish line.
Yes, that's what you call this ugly winning. We have seen it this morning. It's about minimizing errors, small stoppers. It doesn't mean that everything is over. You're still in the race.
And that's really good. So you can win ugly, as we said. You can have errors, you can compensate, and sometimes you don't have to pull out the big arms to speed up your boats, accelerate it again. Something about the water level, is that normal that it went down over the last few days?
Yes, I think it's getting down a bit, but it's keeping a constant level at the moment. Of course, it's going down a tiny bit. I don't know the exact reason for that. I mean, the weather stayed warm, so we should expect that there is still a lot of snow melting up in the mountains. I don't know why this is going down a bit for the moment.
Well, I mean, the latest I know is it's so hot now, the snow, when it melts, it evaporates into the air straight away, and there seems to be a phenomenon that then the water doesn't transform into, transfers into the water on the river. It just obviously evaporates into the atmosphere. That's the latest what I heard. So funny enough, we could have a bit of a drought, even though the winter here was massive.
Yes, we had a kind of a record winter in Switzerland. Since 20 years there was not any winter like this anymore. We have so much snow still in the mountains, and this phenomenon of this transition of the sublimation, how it is called in chemistry.
Thank you very much.
This sublimation thing, I have not thought about it, but it totally makes sense.
Obviously a doctor of biochemistry sitting next to me. Thanks for that. And we have a race. Great Britain on the course, and we have a team event. means we have three athletes from the same country going down the course, 400 meter long, one rapid after the other, big waves, big stoppers, and now approaching the massive big obstacle in the middle of the river. They have to find a way around the big Muota rock. This is the team of Victoria Murray, Lydia Oktobi and Laura Milne. And they seem to be in some troubles here.
Yes, she got caught in the eddy here. So this was for sure not their plan.
Wasn't ideal. One of the paddlers, the second paddler, Lydia Oktobi, caught in the slack water, had to turn, and these boats are very, very hard to turn. 4 meter and 50 centimeters long, very, very tricky to turn. So the team from Great Britain a little bit disjointed, and Lydia trying to catch up. The others have to wait. There is a rule that they have to cross the finish line within 10 seconds of each other. So the clock is started at the start with the first paddler, and it terminates with the third paddler crossing the finish line. And here they are, all three together. The team from Great Britain setting now a first time that will be a reference for us. It's about a 1:50 for the Brits. We have a 2 minutes start interval that allows us not to miss anything of the action. Team number 2, Rosa Matilde, Giulia Formenton and Cecilia Panato. Rosa Matilde was in the race in the individual final this morning, and Cecilia Panato, she won the gold medal in the canoe single event. All very close together, approaching the Muota rock. How did that look compared to the Brits? That looked pretty good. All three close together. No turns. That looks like if they get that right to the finish. And as I speak, we have an error there. What happened, Matthias?
Yeah, such a big unfortunate thing which happened down here. I think she got hit a little bit by her colleague, and she was pushed into the eddy, and she was not able to maintain the boat in the right direction.
She eddied out, and again the team loses a lot of time. They'll beat the Brits for the moment. It's about 1:28. It's definitely a sub 1:30. Great Britain was beaten by the Italians, and again both teams so far not without any major errors. So if the Japanese get down without eddying out and doing a 360, they could actually go into the lead.
Absolutely, they have it in their hands to go into the lead now.
So this is Honda Kei, Ido Natsumi, Yamada Mami from the Japanese Canoe Federation. The teams, they appear in reverse order from the results in the individual event. So the later we get into the category, the stronger the team we would expect. So can they do that course without any major errors? The team from Japan approaching the Muota rock. That looks all right so far, Matthias. Would you agree?
Yes, they crossed the Muota stone without big problems so far.
And the last
But
paddler was very paced, very good correction from the front paddler. You want to be very clean as a first paddler. Who would you put in first position? Is that usually the fastest paddler of the team?
Yeah, I think this again a tactical game. We will see that normally the very strong teams, they will put the weakest athlete at the beginning, at the front in the beginning, and then the second strongest athlete will then overtake this athlete just at the start line.
And a good run for the Japanese. They come in under 1:30. We have the Italians in the lead, 1:26.36. Japan into second, 3:21 down, and Great Britain into third. Italy in the lead. And now we have the Swiss, Melanie Mattis, sixth in the morning. So how do they start? We were in touch with the coach. What's the tactic here?
Yeah, so Flavia Zimmermann, you see her she was at the ponton. She's overtaken now by Hanna Müller, the second strongest athlete. She is leading now the team, and Melanie stays at the end, and she will try to overtake her colleagues at the finish line, and she will get very important seconds back like this for her teammates.
So a very, very tactical approach, a strategy of the Swiss team. It was their weakest link at the start pontoon. She was overtaken straight away by the second strongest, and their strongest here in the red boat, that's Melanie Mattis. And the idea is that in the final 100 meters, she would catch up and maybe eventually even overtake the young Flavia Zimmermann from the Canoe Club of Nidwalden. Let's see. So far, the tactic is absolutely spot on. And let's see. Yes, overtaken now. She gets into the wake of her strong teammate Melanie Mattis. Very, very good. That strategy seems to work.
That was the strategy. I think she was overtaking her colleague even a bit earlier than what was the plan, because Flavia was stopped a little bit, but this was a plan which was existing in their head for sure as well.
Very well executed. This is definitely the new lead. Switzerland into the lead by 5.59 seconds. Switzerland 1, Italy 2, Japan 3. And we have 3 boats to go, so nothing decided by the medals. The Swiss sitting in gold medal position, and now the very strong French with the world champion from this morning, Manon Ostens, the third from this morning, Claire Brun, and Charlène Le Courvoisier, she was 11th as well. So all them French paddlers, they were in the final this morning. Off they go. The French team attacking the new gold medal position held currently by the Swiss team. Approaching and exiting the corner into the Muota rock. Bit of a hit for the first boat.
Yes, we saw now that they choose different lines now. That's one strategy you can apply, that you don't interfere with each other too much.
Well, it was really easy to see slightly different lines, so you can't touch or interfere, as you say, with each other. That was a really good run. France, all 3 were in the individual final this morning. The gold medalist, the world champion in here, the bronze medalist, and the time to beat is a 1:20. We probably look here at the new leader. It's very tight, very tight. They go into the lead, 2.4 seconds ahead of the Swiss. France, Switzerland, Italy, 2 teams to go.
Yeah, I think now you can see that the Swiss performance was a good performance. So they are in the region of the French team, and that is a good sign. Let's see what Germany is delivering.
And we have Germany, Jill Sophie Eckert, 7th this morning. Lisa Köstle not in the final this morning. Sabine Fusser, 10th this morning. So this gives you a bit of an indication. And as Matthias said, similar tactic here. Sabine Fusser at the start and overtaken now. No, not overtaken by Lisa Köstler. Over to you, Matthias.
Yeah, they didn't apply the strategy. So Sabine Fösser stays in the lead, and she is probably selecting the left line now, whereas number 3 is staying on the right line.
Yes, we have seen that before. Different lines for the 3 paddlers. And paddler 3 was much faster, had to wait a bit, but come out of the Muota rock very solidly.
Absolutely, it's a very close team performance at the moment. You can see everyone behind each other at the moment. It looks fast.
Looks very, very fast indeed. Very fast indeed. The Germans attacking the gold medal position a bit on the right in the slack water here. The second paddler, that is Lisa Köstler.
But at the end, what counts is the third boat. In this, at this time of the race, the boat number 3 has to come as close as possible and maybe even overtake the teammates.
That will be a very tight decision between Switzerland and Germany. It looked like they go into second place.
Oh, that's
0.06 behind France. France, Germany, Switzerland, very tight. One team to go, Czech Republic. And what a paddler leading that team. Martina Satkova in the start pontoon. So far this week, 4 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze. She's the big star in this Czech team, and not only the Czech team, but throughout the world. She's on the start and she's leading that team. Martina Satkova, together with Agnieszka Paludova and Barbora Dimovova. So in the lead, France, second Germany, third Switzerland, and this is the favorite here. Absolute favorite from this morning. Martina was second, Agnieszka fifth, and Dimovova fourth. All 3 in the individual final. How they do at the Muota Rock?
They all chose the left line. Everyone took the same line. It's looking like a very close team performance again.
All on the same line. That means very risky if one has a bit of a mishap, but absolutely spot on the line, it seems.
Yes, and also the last boat, no stopper for her. She is able to catch up now, and she is accelerating, and maybe the best line is offered to her so that she can overtake her teammate.
We are looking at a time of 1:18. Will that be gold number 5 for Martina Satkova? Gold number 5. Is it? Is it not? We'll get that time. Yes, it is. And look at that. The top 3 teams in 0.38 of a second. Czech Republic, France, Germany. That's exciting racing.
That was exciting racing. Very close decision again. So Czech, France and Germany are on the podium. That's well deserved in this race.
Into 4th position the Swiss, and they can be very proud of themselves. They delivered a really, really good performance, and they were just 3 better teams.
Yes, absolutely. I think the Swiss team, they were not showing big errors or mistakes. It was a solid performance. They have a young team, so there is room for improvement in 2 years, I'm sure.
Yes, interesting that Sabine Eichenberger, the 50-year-old legend of Swiss canoeing, she didn't race here. She gave way to a young paddler, Zimmermann, Flavia Zimmermann. So as you said, a very young team, very promising team, and in this very young composition, came down in a very good, solid 4th position.
Yes, absolutely. That was just a solid performance, of course. Those young athletes, there is some room for physical training. They can get stronger, maybe get some higher stroke rates, and a lot is possible.
So the Czech Republic wins, and they will get a kiss at the medal ceremony later on. The flower ceremony, of course, first, and then tonight the Czech girls will get the kisses for winning that gold medal. And Martina Savkova has now an outstanding medal table herself. She's on a 5-1-1, and you wouldn't believe she's got another race. She comes back in the C1. So Czech Republic gold, France silver, Germany bronze. And the spectators, they're just coming in en masse, as you say in French. Really good turnout, good crowd. Just a little breather, and we'll be back shortly with the team event in the single canoe C1. Welcome back to Muotathal. You're right on time to welcome the Spanish team that is opening the C1 sprint team event. La España, bienvenido los amigos de España. Alan Padilla, Manuel Freire, Rodrigo Ramos Collado, discúlpame. Muy bien. So we're approaching the first big challenge, the difficulty, the Muota Rock. They seem to be on track here with us, Matthias, the technical expert. That looked very good.
That looked very smooth, nothing to complain.
Very good. In this class we will have 7 teams, 3 boats together, very close, and they look really good. The same as in the classes before. The strongest teams come right at the end. They're ranked in order of their individual performances. That means the Spanish team on the individual seat were 7s, but that doesn't mean anything. Starts at 0, and the Spanish team crosses the line in just over 1 minute and 20 seconds. 1:20. We wait for the time for the Spanish. 1:24.04 is the first score. And from Spain we move into another Latin country. The boys, Mattia Quintarelli, Paolo Razzauti, Giorgio Dell'Agostino from Italy. So Mattia has a nice proper beard. He's just presenting himself at the start, but actually someone else is then overtaking. So that is a tactic that we have seen in the women race before.
Yeah, exactly, and he is even going now at the very end. I think the Swiss, they had one overtaken, and he is now at the very end, so 2 boats are in front of him now.
Let's see if that will pay off at the end. So the Italian team, the Italian Canoe Federation, they celebrated a gold medal this morning in the women's C1 class. So the same boat, a single canoe, but in the women, they already have 1 gold in the bag. Will it be another medal for the Italian team? Quintarelli with Rassauti on Dell'Agostino. That looked pretty faultless. And now, will he overtake? Yes, he does, but probably because this paddler had massive issues. Needs to turn 360 and loses valuable time.
Yes, maybe this is the wrong decision that he overtook his colleague right at this in this situation. So he was pushed a bit to the eddy, and there was no way of not getting eddy out.
Couldn't escape, and it looks like that tactic, the Italian tactic at the start, didn't pay off, and that will not be another medal. I think we can say that for sure. They go into second position. So Spain remains in the lead, 1:24.04. And now the Swiss team, Fabio Gretner, excellent this morning, 7th in the individual final, and he is accompanied by the brothers Benjamin Müller, Jonah Müller. And believe it or not, Jonah Müller in January only just turned 16. Benjamin, his brother, is 19. So Fabio, the top man in this Swiss trio, right at the end, and it looks like they want to apply the Italian strategy.
Yes, Fabio tried to get in front, and I think it was not possible so far, so Jonah Müller still in the lead at the moment.
And eddied out a bit, the first paddler in difficulties.
Yeah, he was luckily not getting an upstream position, but he got a lot into the slow water.
Didn't quite have the full 360 like the Italian. They are supported by the crowd here. We have quite a turnout this Sunday afternoon. Fantastic weather. Hot it is, hot and humid. You could think you're in the Caribbean. Brilliant conditions and fighting to the end. This is Müller Benjamin, the Benjamin of the team, approaching the finish line. Probably just short of the time the Spanish team set. 1:24.04 it is. Imagine how good that would have been with a better line at the Muota. And the Swiss go into second place, 2.14 down. Just a little error at the Muota. Other than that, it was a good run.
It was a good run, but you could still see that Jonah, he is a young paddler. He is maybe not as strong as Fabio, for example, at the moment. So I'm sure this is also a team which has a lot of space for improvement in the next few years.
Big potential for the Swiss C1 team, as well as there is big potential for their kayak team. So the future looks bright for the Swiss downriver team. Slovakia, an interesting team, with the silver medalist from the slalom Olympic Games in Rio, Matej Benoš, in third position right at the end here in the grey boat. So Slovak Republic, Miss Ladislav Danik, Martin Medved and Matej Benoš at the Muota. Really controlled the third position here. Benoš up 20. We can see everybody from start to finish, every single stroke, and now it's the strokes from the team from Serbia with Sreten Bilic, Marko Jovic and Ognjen Perovanovic, and all boats in the Serbian colors, easy recognizable, all on the same line it seems.
So far it's looking good. Very good performance. Not only the boat looks very similar, also the line looks similar.
Well, and I would even go further and say the boats look the same and the line looks the same. Really, really good performance here. Can they bring it down all the way? And it looks good.
Yeah, the last one was stopped. That was a bit too far on the left, and that was very unfortunate.
Definitely not his plan A, but now accelerating, speeding up, and he almost caught the second paddler. The second just has to make sure he crosses the line first. He doesn't want to give any time away there. And he probably crosses the line last, so that would have been a bit of an error there.
Yes, absolutely. That would be not a good strategy. I was also surprised that they were offering to the last paddler the inside curve, and they didn't offer him the best line in the fast current.
Yes, and they only lost 1.67 seconds on Austria, so considering the fact that, you know, he had this hit in the stopper plus the little error tactically at the end, I mean, they probably gave that first place away for the moment.
Yes, maybe that was really a game changer.
Great Britain, Nicky Cressa is waiting it out and is overtaken by the other ones. I hope this is not only because he has the camera on his helmet that he waits, now he films his teammates from the back. So this is the Great Britain team with Nicky Cressa, Robert Jeffries and Jacob Holmes. All on the same line, approaching the Muota rock. And this is the line from the right, as we've seen that this morning and described it and analysed it this morning.
Yes, it was a 3 times right line.
3 times right. Thank you very much. Of course it was. Really good. Into the wavy section. They seem to be very composed, all in control. And the man in the back, we would expect him now to overtake. He is the strongest of them. That's Nicky Cressa with the helmet camera. He would definitely now try to catch up with his teammates, and he might even overtake.
Yes,
and they want to try to avoid that.
Yes, that's what I was thinking for the Serbian team. Now the last man is offered the line at the right and not the inside line.
Let's see if that played out. Not quite. 1.39 down. Great Britain into silver. Austria, Great Britain, Serbia. We have a total of 16 teams that present themselves to the starter. Next one up, the team from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Darko Savic, Anes Sudic and Dusan Makic. They haven't been represented in the individual finals this morning, but that doesn't mean anything. They're fully recovered from yesterday. And as we said, in a team event, everything is possible. We're entering now the Canoe Arena, the stadium, and looking out of the commentary box. We have almost full house, a big crowd now around the Muota rock and further down to the finish line, and they see some attractive sport. And what a time they had to wait, those people of the Muotathal Valley. 45 years since they saw this attractive sport last time disputed in a world championship. Bosnia and Herzegovina in the last third of their event now. There's still a few ways to paddle around and to avoid hits that slow you down, and completing their team event, the athletes from Bosnia and Herzegovina. They go into 4th position. Austria still in the lead, 1:15.01. And we are in the final 10 boats, 10 to go. And first of all, bienvenido España, Guillermo Fidalgo de León, Jesús Rodríguez León y Germán Jiménez. Bienvenido a Muotathal. The Spanish team here, a big contingency, taking the opportunity here to race on the wild Muota River. Into this right bend and then approaching. You have, when you paddle down, you've got that Muota rock in front of you, the flow of the water straight onto the rock, into the rock here on the left now, and that's what you try to avoid in that difficult section.
Yes, the last paddler is now a bit off. Let's see if that was the right strategy and if he is able to catch up with his teammates.
Because obviously the clock is on the last paddler. The first one crossing the start starts that clock, and now the paddler in the yellow boat, he needs to catch up, and he just does that. He's almost back with his teammates. That's crucial, because we would expect again a very, very tight race. The first one a bit wide again. Bit wide. Is he underestimating it? And the Spanish, they go into the lead. And look at that, 0.27 of a seconds. Primer lugar, primer posición por el momento, el equipo de España. 1 minuto 14.74. Felicidades. Currently in first position, Spain. We have 9 teams to go. Slovakia. Was led by Andrej Malek. He came 14th this morning in the individual event. He leads Alan Porubsky and Alexander Sedlacek, Slovak Republic. They seem to approach it on slightly different lines, but now coming from the right.
Yeah, that was the
All
triple,
three, yes.
the triple right line.
The triple right, and in the bend they had slightly different lines, but ended up all in the same position, approaching the rock from the right. That looks like a very good run, tidy.
Yeah, now their last paddler is struggling, getting stopped here in the last big wave.
Paddler number 1 was stuck, but that doesn't matter that much because the time is actually here on him.
Yeah, but he was stopped as well.
Yes, he was as well, so that is the crucial one. The time is on the last paddler. In the lead at the moment, Spain. Will Slovakia be able to catch them? They had 2 errors down here at the bottom. Other than that, it looked pretty good. But let's wait and see. Slovak Republic. Where are we? 5th position. And you see how tight it is. The top 5 in 2.69 seconds. Spain stays in 1st position. And now, Switzerland, led by Linus Bolsen from Lucerne, Nico Meyer from Solothurn, and Cornel Brecher from Nidwalden, from Box. Off they go. They seem to have a very straightforward strategy.
Yeah,
Matthias?
that was not what we have seen for the women. So Linus is just staying in the lead. Cornel stays in the middle. And Nico is controlling the race from behind and might overtake in the very end.
Cornel, the youngest and least experienced. And they have him in the middle. They come from the right. This is a left and a left. That looks very good.
That looked good.
Very good line.
They are in the race.
And supported by the Swiss spectators. They came out in numbers, and they will hear them now. Very loud. A big crowd, big cheers from the Swiss fans. This is actually the last Swiss team they see. Will we see now Nico Meyer overtaking Cornel Brecher?
Yes, it's exactly what's happening now. Nico is offered the right line by Cornell, and they might cross the finish line together.
So they offer Cornel Brecher the fastest line, and the other two whatever they get, so that Cornell can finish his race, and that looks like a very solid performance. And it was Switzerland in the lead, 1.9 second up on Spain, 2.23 on Austria. Very good performance, wasn't it?
Yes, I think going below 113, that's a big achievement. They finished it how you really should do that. So Nico was offered the fast water. He was the guy who was crossing at the very end, but they were closing it almost together.
Very good. How long will it stand? I mean, that's outside their control. They controlled what they could control. They delivered a great performance, the Swiss trio. Let's see what the others do. First up, the Aussies, Australia, Robert McIntyre, Alex McIntyre, his brother, and Kaelin Bassett. McIntyre, Robert, he came fifth this morning. Very, very strong. I think he's coming off last. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Matthias,
you're right. Robert McIntyre is at the end. I think that's a good strategy. We will see him bringing into the game his fast arms, and I'm sure he will also be there when it counts at the very end.
That's him in the green striped boat. He will bring that team home. He will attack from that final position when they come now into the last third of the course. Another 200 meters to go. A little bit of slack water for his colleague, and he'll try to bring that home, and he does just that. They want to keep the others on the fastest line, but Robert McIntyre, and that was the strategy, coming off last and then overtaking.
Yeah,
that looks like a great time.
He is overtaking in the inside, so that's big.
That's absolutely big, and Australia goes into the lead, and look at that, only by less than a second, 0.59 of a second. That should read Australia, not Austria. Australia in the lead. It's the right flag there, just over half a second ahead of the Swiss.
Great performance of Australia.
Italia. It's relentless. Don't know how you have it at home, but no time for a breather. We have the next team. We have 6 teams to go. Federico Urbani, Davide Maccanan e Andrea Bernardi, Italia. No star tactics. It looked like a straightforward 1, 2, 3 off the start.
No tactical games so far. Just keeping it simple, and that is sometimes key for success.
I couldn't agree more with you here, Matthias. Keep it simple. Usually works a treat, and that's what it does for them. Italians at the moment looks absolutely smooth on the line, and they're spaced just ideally. Each boat has space, and I shouldn't have said anything here, Matthias. What happened?
Yeah, he just got eddied out.
He was unchallenged.
He came a little bit too much in this slow water at the bank, and it happened so quickly.
And I don't think he was touched by the paddler behind him. It was an unchallenged, unforced error, they say in tennis, and that was an unforced error, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean unforced is maybe the wrong word. The force of the water should never be underestimated. Like this, I would call it a forced error.
Thanks for the instruction. I think you put that very nicely. So Australia still in the lead, Switzerland second, and Spain in third position. We go from Italy to Belgium. Bram Sikkens, their strongest paddler, 13s in the individual final this morning. Samuel Pip and Guy Deprin. And here we see the start strategy again.
Yeah, now they made this maneuver. Guy Deprin is overtaking everyone else. He is in the lead, and Bram Sikkens is following at the very end, and he will show up again in front at the finish line.
So this is basically a copy of the women K1 Swiss team. They did it exactly like that, maybe slightly slower, but exactly the same strategy. And so far it seems to work for the Belgian
Yes,
team.
they were struggling a bit. In the beginning, the boats 1 and 2 were struggling a bit with the Muota stone, with the stopper before. But now they are getting close together and nothing is lost so far.
And this is now the time for Bram Sikkens, the man at the back. He's now sprinting, and his power now comes to show, and he wants to get as close to his paddlers as possible without interfering. He comes on a very wide line.
Yes, that's one strategy to be out there.
Belgium, did that pay off? The time was on the last boat, and Belgium didn't quite pay off.
Yeah, they maybe lost really too much up at the Muota stone, and at the end what you were pointing out to Bram Sikkens was a bit far on the right. I agree with you totally.
Thank you for that one. Australia in the lead, Switzerland in second, and Spain in third. And we have the three athletes from the Czech Republic. Wojtek Sapletal, Filip Ritz, he was 15th this morning, and Karel Slepica 9th this morning. So they had two finalists, so on paper they should actually challenge the Australians now.
Yes, Czech team is a favorite for a medal in this race, in my opinion. Maybe there are still 3 teams coming, but they talk about medals, that's sure.
Very wide line for number 1, and then closing down that space, number 2 and number C. Slepica, who was 9th in the individual this morning, he was the strongest, and he's at the end of the 3 at the moment. Not a surprise. The idea is that he can close down the gap. Oh, a big hit now for number 2.
A big hit, and now it's crucial that you don't interfere, but that's exactly what's happening, unfortunately, now.
But Slepica had to slow down so he doesn't interfere with his colleague, who is not quite as strong, so he can catch up now and get a bit of terrain back. But the second paddler, a big hit in that final stopper that he just couldn't avoid. A very tricky course, a very tricky course. We've seen that. And Czech Republic looks like they're only going into third. That is a bit of a surprise. 1.16 down. Australia, Switzerland, Czech Republic, and we have got 3 boats to go. What do you think? How do the Swiss feel at the finish line at the moment?
Yeah,
Lying in third and 3 boats to go.
I think better and better. It's more than they would have expected, I'm sure. And as we were saying, there is a lot possible in team races. It's not sure that all the 3 remaining teams, they will show a proper run.
And the first of those remaining 3 teams, that is Germany. All 3 boats in the final this morning. Finn Hartstein 10th, Björn Beerschwenger 11th, Björn Bartol 12. So the nice little trio this morning, 10, 11, 12. Will there be such a good trio this afternoon? Up to the Muota rock.
Yes, both number 1 and 2 didn't look perfect, but number 3 was on the line. That's the most important thing, catching up. Now he is maybe not pushing everything out, but now he is just overtaking and showing up in front.
And the red boat is a little bit in the slack, slow water there on the right. That didn't look ideal. So make sure Finn Hartstein, the last paddler there, doesn't interfere with the line of the red boat, to put it that way, because that would be very costly. Germany going into first place, and what a lead. What a lead. Germany first, Australia second, Switzerland third, and we have got 2 boats to go. So for the host nation, the worst that could happen is a 5th place, and as you said, that's not what they would have expected.
Yes, I think that would be a great team performance. I'm not sure, maybe the best Swiss team performance in a sprint team ever. So that was very, very well put.
Yes, we will ask the historians about how good that was in a historical context, but there's no time for that. We have the French team, and this team on paper even better. Paul Carton 4th, Paul Jean 7th, and Maxence Barou 8th. All 3 in the final, all higher ranked than the Germans, higher ranked than the Aussies. So these would be the current favourites.
Yes, everyone took the same line. The last boat is accelerating, high stroke rates. I think that's a good sign for a very fast time.
Yeah. Tricolore of France. All 3 boats right up there. And they have very stiff competition still to come. The Slovenian team after them. So that looks like a great time. 1 minute just passed now. And we probably just see the new leader here. And yes, we've seen the new leader. 0.7 of a seconds. France first, Germany second, Australia third, and now Switzerland just out of the medals in 4th position. And we have 1 team to go, and what a team, Matthias.
Yeah, there is not a lot to say about Slovenia at the moment. Incredible qualification yesterday, 4 boats in the top 4, and today we had a triple win of Slovenia.
A clean sweep, as they call it. And look at them, focused, they mean business. And if we get that right, all 3 have the Slovenian flag on their cheeks. So what a performance this morning. 1, 2 and 3, and of course the favourites by a mile, by 100 miles, by light years. Slovenia the favourite to take gold home, but we've seen it. It's not over until you cross that finish line.
Yeah, when Nate is accelerating that much at the end and he doesn't have to slow down, that's a very good sign for Slovenia. Here, everyone in the right position, no hesitation for anyone. Nate is just going through the last stopper perfectly.
So Nate, yeah, very good. Nate Sninarčić in the green boat. He is the new world champion. So he is no less than the world champion, coming into the finish in just about 3-4 seconds, and no doubt about who wins this race. An outstanding performance. for the Slovenian team. It's not Slovakia, it's Slovenia. It's the right flag up there. We have a new leader. We have a new world champion. It is Slovenia in first position, France in second, 0.63 down, Germany in third in bronze medal, 1.33 down. The host nation Switzerland finishes in fifth. Wow, the favourites came through. It is only 0.63 seconds though. That means the French found a very, very good line on that course in the team.
Yes, that's true. I think the French, they showed a great performance. The Slovenians showed actually a great performance too. And that shows a bit that sometimes in team events things can get closer than individuals. So it brings the time differences even closer again, because the strategy is an important factor. You have to work with each other, and even a great team like Slovenia has to give everything to stay in front. That's not said just because you have the best three individuals at the start.
No, that's well said. And the bronze medal position is only 1.33 down. You've got basically 9 men who is in 1.33 seconds, so that's how close it is.
Yes, and today in the morning we have seen that Nate Snidarčić, he was ahead more than this gap. So in the individuals, actually he could bring in his personal world class a bit better, and the teams got closer now again.
So before we go into a break, sum up briefly the first 3 classes that we've seen. Would you be able to do that? Just a little sum up?
Yeah, so we have seen great performance of the Slovenian men. That was not surprising. I was a bit surprised that the Swiss team was that far, that they were really in the top 5.
They were in the mix.
Yes,
they were absolutely in the mix. Yes,
they were in. The French are on the second place in the K1 men. That's maybe also what you would have expected. And Germany is number 3, right?
That's correct. Yes. Germany 3. And in the other classes, in the K1 women, we saw the Czechs, the favorite, winning, and we've seen Ondrej Rollins adding to the medal table. So the favorites probably at the end came through, but it was a hard fighting, and very, very tight racing. So there is more to come. We have a little break. I think it's about 20 minutes break before we have 2 more classes to finish these World Championships. We restart at 4:30 with the C1 women, followed by the C2 men. So in 20 minutes we'll be back. Thank you. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in 20 minutes. Thank you, and bye from Muotathal for the moment, where we watch live the finals of the sprint team event.
1884. Karl Elsener eröffnet mit der Unterstützung seiner Mutter Victoria eine Messerschmiedewerkstatt in Ibach, Schweiz. Um die Schweizer Armee mit dem Soldatenmesser zu beliefern, gründet Karl den Verband Schweizer Messerschmiedemeister. Dieses Messer war etwas groß und schwer. Deshalb entwickelte der Firmengründer ein kleineres, leichteres und eleganteres Messer mit zusätzlichen Funktionen. Er nannte dieses neue Modell Schweizer Offiziers- und Sportmesser. Der Rest ist Geschichte. Seit der Gründung des Unternehmens durch meinen Urgroßvater hat sich Victorinox stark weiterentwickelt. Mit der Zeit und im Zuge der technischen Entwicklung haben wir das Schweizer Messer laufend verbessert. Die Leidenschaft für Qualität, Funktionalität, Innovation und Design vereint unsere Mitarbeitenden jeden Tag. All unsere Produkte sind inspiriert von denselben Werten und der Einzigartigkeit des kleinen roten Messers. Victorinox-Produkte sind funktionell, zuverlässig und nachhaltig. Sie sind eine Kombination aus Tradition und Moderne und ein treuer Begleiter für die täglichen Abenteuer unserer Kunden. Victorinox-Geschäfte und Shop-in-Shops auf der ganzen Welt sind Schaufenster für unsere Marke. Sie integrieren die breite Produktepalette auf eine authentische und glaubwürdige Art. Das gibt dem Kunden die einzigartige Möglichkeit, die Victorinox-Welt hautnah zu erleben. Für die warme Atmosphäre mit einem industriellen Touch verwenden wir echte, natürliche Materialien wie Stahl und Eiche. Das kleine rote Messer, das fast alles kann, ist ein Kultobjekt und zu einer weltweit authentischen Marke geworden. Victorinox, eine Marke, mehr als 130 Jahre Geschichte.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bienvenue, benvenido. Schönen guten Nachmittag, liebe Sportfreunde in der Schweiz. We are live from Muotathal, the Muota River, untamed river. Lots of power, 35 cumax, 35,000 liters per second. A very challenging whitewater course, and the spectators here, the French supporters waiting with us. We're having 2 gold medals still to give away. The final 2 events of those World Championships 2018. The first time that we have seen those championships in Muotathal. Well, the first time since 1973 that we have seen them in Switzerland at all. On a senior level, we've seen the Junior Worlds on the Engelberger in Nidwalden, but the first Senior World Championships, in fact, the first time in 45 years. Let's hope we don't have to wait another 45 years. Excellent sport we have seen, excellent athletes, and last not least, well, an excellent organization. And I've almost forgot it. The weather was just spot on. 4 days of sunshine, and those 2 here, they enjoy that as much as we do. You see, in shorts, enjoying shorts and t-shirt, enjoying another day of sunshine out in the Swiss Alps. There are a few clouds around, but no thunderstorm in sight. Yes, we can see right up to the peaks of the mountains, still covered in snow, and the conditions here for 4 days absolutely brilliant. And first and foremost, fair conditions for all the competitors. So we have seen exciting racing, tight racing, hotly contested in all the categories. And for us and the spectators here waiting, we're just having 2 handfuls of teams coming and fighting it out for 2 gold medals. First off, the C1 women, followed by the double canoe, and we just start with a very, very interesting team. Well, it looks like there are 2 teams that we don't see. We don't see the Czech Republic and we don't see the Italian. We go straight into the French team, so we haven't been told what happened, but actually the start time of the first teams has passed. It looks like the Czechs and the Italians are missing their start. Well, we're commenting on what we can see, and we can see lots of spectators and the rescue team. We've seen quite a few rescues. It was all well done, no problem at all. No athlete was in danger. Really, really good, well experienced rescue team from the fire brigades here in Muotathal and from communities around the valley here, and supported by members of canoe clubs. So this is the point to say thank you to the rescue team that supported the organizers, supported the athletes, and yes, there were a few people capsizing, but no problem. So with me again, Matthias, we're on the last leg, and yeah, we had the rescue team in action a few times, but absolutely no problem.
Yes, that was a good performance from the rescue team. Today in the morning, as far as I remember, we didn't see any accident, so they spent a calm day at the bank of the Muota.
And that's the way it has to be. And I've got a bit of an insight. A few weeks ago, the rescue team got together the fire brigades, the whitewater rescue experts, and that's where they had a bit of an injury. So there was one member of that team jumping in for an exercise, and he actually broke his ankle, and is released from the hospital today. And I hope he was able to come up here and watch it, or at least watch it on the live stream. So when they trained for the athletes, there was one member who had a bit of an injury, but all well, and all the swimming athletes, those who had to leave their boats, they were all safe and back on the riverbank in no time. So unfortunately we don't have the Czechs and the Italians. Min Satkova stays on 5 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze. They might have said one more race is one too much, and they don't race. So the only one is racing is the French team. Margot Bézia, Hélène Ragen and Claire Ab. Bienvenue la Fédération Française de Canoë-Kayak, ici au Muotathal. Des conditions absolument merveilleuses. Nothing to complain. We've seen great championships here in Muotathal, and as we said, we hope we don't have to wait another 45 years to be back here to witness those title events. On the Muota Rock, now all of them passed very well. It looks like they had a very good team performance so far.
Yes, that looked good. Everyone was close. Everything is just in the right line at the moment.
Well done. All 3 of those boats, they made it into the individual finals of the top 10 this morning. So an absolutely top team composed of 3 world-class athletes from France. We had lots of spectators this afternoon. They came out in numbers, enjoying a day out in the natural stadium, the Canoe Arena of Muotathal. Finishing their event, 3 C1 women canoe single from France. So that was it in this class. We have a short little break. We've got about 6 minutes, and we will go into the C2 men, and we might just have a little conversation around that, hopefully to see the next World Championships up here in the Muotathal before 45 years, because we have to wait 45 years. That would take us to about 2061.
2063.
Let's do it again. So ladies and gentlemen, we tried to add 45 years to 2018. So Matthias, my doctor of chemistry, biological chemistry, is spot on. 2063. What do you think? I mean, this course here has an absolute world-class level. So the course, the water, the spectators would deserve to see a Worlds before 2063. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We have seen that the Muota stone, it remained in the same position, so we could wait for 45 years, but I think it's not necessary.
Yes, I would agree. And I remember 1973. I wasn't racing on here. I was racing later in the 70s, and I can say from my own experience, I love to race here around the Muota Rock. It's a brilliant piece of whitewater, and talking to the athletes over the last few days, talking to coaches, members of staff, everybody confirms it is one of the best, if not the best, natural whitewater course that we have in the world to race those championships. So a big well done from the commentary position for organising a great World Championship, and hopefully the Swiss Canoe Federation gets the worlds allocated before 2063.
Yes, I hope as well. It's really a great scenery here. I remember as well when I was an athlete, the Muota is really a perfect spot. There are places in France, places in Slovenia. I like to race on as well, and here in Switzerland it was always amongst my favorites.
And it's very central in Switzerland, very central in Europe, so it is easy accessible these days. And so we wish to think the International Canoe Federation will allocate those worlds earlier than 2063. We've seen a Swiss team, very young, lots of potential, and lots of hope going into the next 5-10 years.
Yes, we have seen teams with paddlers, as for example the K1 women. The oldest of the team is Melanie Mattis, 24-year-old. That's still young, and the other ones, her teammates, are even much younger. The same was actually true for the C1 team and also for the K1 team. So they all have paddlers. There were paddlers in the sprint teams, and no one of those was older than 24 years.
Another observation I made, and I want you to join in here. If I look at the classic event and now the sprint that we just finished, in the endurance event, as they call it, the classic, an absolute dominance by the Czech team. We had the national anthem from the Czech Republic about 7 out of 9 times, 7 out of 8 the other night. And today in the sprint event, it seems those medals seem to be a bit more distributed amongst the different countries, and the Czech dominance is not as imminent as it is in the endurance.
Yes, absolutely. I think there are nations like Slovenia, they might put a little bit more of focus on the sprint, maybe compared to the classic races. And also the French team is known that they want to have a good sprint team, and they form their team around good sprinters.
And the other one is the host nation. It's always important that the host nation gets on the medal tally, and they did. They came in there with 2 bronze medals.
Yes, exactly. So they were delivering those performances. They showed good races already on Thursday and Friday, and today it was a bit unfortunate for Melanie Mattis that she made this mistake at the Muota stone, and like this she felt off the medals.
And then we had a Fabio Gretener who delivered a 7th place in the C1. Really good performance.
Absolutely, that was a great performance. I would say Fabio, compared to Melanie, he really showed the best performance today. So he got really in a rank which is normally not what he is delivering every day. So he showed just the best of himself today. And Melanie, she got a bit unfortunate in the sprint race, and like this she might be not satisfied with the race today.
And moving to the K1 men, they might have been a little bit disappointed not to have a finalist in the individual, but now they came in the team and delivered a 5th place to finish their championships.
Yes, they absolutely showed a great performance in this afternoon. That was not expected from ourselves. I think that they are showing up in the top 5.
Very good. Final commentary on the Swiss team, while the French supporter kiss each other. Lots of joy. I mean, you see just such a lot of joyfulness, happy people. It was a great World Championships, fair conditions, and the weather absolutely superb. Well, away from chatting, Matthias, it was really nice to talk to you. We are into the last class, very attractive, 6 athletes together, distributed in 3 boats. We have the C2 team event. And we have the Czech Republic at the start. This is another opportunity now for Andrej Rolenč, the outstanding male athlete of those championships. He's got 3 gold, 1 silver and 1 bronze so far. Can he add another gold? So it is a race between the Czech Republic and probably France. So on the start line, the Czech Republic, about a minute to go. Petr Vesely, Marek Rigel, Daniel Suchanek, Andrej Rolenč, Antonín Haleš and Martin Novak. Here we are, we're right at the end of those championships. That doesn't mean they take it easy. Very focused, some final chats. Will we see any tactical maneuver here at the start, Matthias? What do you think?
I think no.
Well, you did that very well. You just wait until they cross the start line. No, that's just straightforward. And as we said earlier, simple is very often just the best and the fastest.
We have seen that by the Slovenian K1, for example. They didn't show any kind of tactical maneuver, just everyone behind each other, and they won the race like this.
And they got on with the business. What we see, slightly different lines in the approach to the motor rock to give each other a bit of space, and they do that just pretty smooth. No problem at all, no sweat at all. Into the wavy section a last time. Stay on the right, avoid all the hits and get that eddy line. Avoid that stopper. Boat 1, boat 2, really good, and boat 3, no problem at all. Only just hitting the 1 minute mark. It's about just short of 100 meters to go. It's a bit flatter here, but you want to avoid all the waves. There's lots of little waves that slow down your boat, and that's what you want to avoid. And they cross the line, the Czech Republic, finishing their World Championships, and as we said, a dominant force in the sprint. 1:14.17 is the mark, the time for the French team that is now sitting on the start line. And actually that is the very last team that we see today. That's the last boat, the last team of these championships. Ladies and gentlemen, will it be France? Will it be the Czech Republic? The Czechs can't do anything anymore. It is all in hands of the French. Gourgeot Pazar, second this morning. Santa Maria Pazur, first this morning. And La Pointe Debré, third this morning. On paper, clear favourite. And anything other than gold would be a disappointment for the French, wouldn't it, Matthias?
Yeah, that would be a great disappointment for them.
Approaching the Muota rock, coming in from the right, trying to avoid that stopper, and then just a hairpin away from the Muota rock. And the French boat coming on this side of the river again.
Yeah, that's what we have seen in the morning.
Absolutely,
They do it
same
again.
line, yes.
They didn't change that.
Just never change a winning team. We see that in action.
So I think the Czech were a bit closer, they were a bit more compact. Let's see if Stefan Santamaria and Quentin Dazer are able to come in front at the
It'll
end.
be very tight, Matthias. It wasn't as clear cut as it looked on paper. They had a clean sweep in the individual. Will they get ahead? Just. Yes, the paper this time wasn't lying. No lies on paper. France 1.49 ahead of the Czech Republic. And ladies and gentlemen, back home, it was really nice to have you with us. We enjoyed it very much. That brings those championships to a close. 4 days, of high-level racing in Muotathal. Did you enjoy it as much as I did, Matthias?
I'm just exhausted now, but I enjoyed it, of course.
And does it sort of feel like you wanted to go getting back into a boat? I mean, it's quite a few years since you've done your last race. Does it feel like?
Yeah, of course it does. When you're sitting here and you're seeing those competitions, you're getting a bit nervous. You would like to compete as well, but on the other hand, I know what it means to be at the start line here. It needs so much of practice, everyday practice, a lot of hours which are invested, and sometimes it doesn't pay off neither. So I have to admit that when you take the decision by heart, I would like, of course, to be back, but maybe if you think about it, it's a little bit a different thing.
Thank you for your nice final words. From here, from the commentary box, just a big thank you. Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias. Vielen Dank. Ciao zusammen. Bis zum nächsten Mal.